have to connect my Bluetooth. This meeting's being recorded. I gotta get my Bluetooth headphones happening here.
Okay, take your time.
Okay, hold on. Here we go. One, two, three, four, five, six. Should be working now.
Yep.
Can you say, yeah,
Go.
I hear you. Yes, I
Hi.
hear you. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay,
You see me and
all
hear
right.
me?
Yes, I see you and hear you.
Okay, great. Well, I'm really, really excited to see you. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Where are you calling from?
Outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Very familiar with that area. I mean,
Yeah.
from playing there, not for living there,
Or
but
no, 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 no. Well, everybody here is a huge fan of yours, so they're going to
I
be
like.
really.
Oh, thank you. I really like the architecture, that early Carnegie, buildings and all of
Yeah.
that is very goth looking. As a matter of fact,
Oh
I
yeah.
think wasn't there like a superhero movie or shows filmed
Um,
there?
yeah. The
Batman? Was it Batman?
yeah, Christian Bale's Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
And
It's
then
like
do you
Gotham
watch
City. Yeah.
Mayor of Kingston at all?
No, no. Is
Jeremy
that
Renner? Yeah.
uh-huh?
They
Is
filmed
that
that
in
here.
Pittsburgh? Oh, great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I
Yeah.
just want to let you know that, 16-year-old me is freaking out a little bit. But,
16-year-old you.
yeah,
It's
huge
good to be in
fan.
touch with your inner child. I
Oh,
love
well,
that.
trust me. No problem
I
there. I still think I'm 18, so.
yeah, I know. I don't even think of time. Time is so many things to me, but I mean we can talk about it when we roll
Yeah,
on. So
no
yeah.
problem. But I just wanted to start off with saying that I read your book.
Ah,
Yes.
there you go.
Loved it very much.
Thank you. Thank you
I
for
was,
reading.
oh yeah, absolutely. I was riveted, which
Mhm.
is why I reached out. I was like, I wanted, not only do
Ah.
I, followed your music career, but the book was really, really interesting, and you're a very good writer.
Well, it's the book basically wrote it. I mean, I have to write it, but the story wrote itself because
Sure.
it's true events. It's nonfiction, which sometimes I mean we can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
So I'll save it for the
Okay.
conversation.
I
Okay.
just wanted to say, like
Okay.
you've been in so many bands, Quiet Riot, Ozzy Osbourne, Whitesnake, Dio, Blue Oyster Cult, and others. Like that's like a tremendous career and amazing, just amazing. I mean, when you think back on, all the things you've done, are you kind of like, does it flabbergast you, or are you just like, it was a really good ride and I've had a really good time?
I have a hard time looking back because I'm so busy looking forward.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going down the highway at 70 miles an hour. You want to keep your eye on the road, not spend too much time looking back in the rearview mirror because you might rear end somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, so my first memory of Quiet Riot was when I was in junior high. Come On Feel the Noise was a huge hit for the band. And I remember being at a junior high dance and we were all up in the bleachers pounding pumping our fists and singing Come On Feel the Noise, like, the top of our lungs. So that's like, it was just like a tremendous, tremendous memory. And then, seeing all the videos, once all the different videos for the different bands you're in were available, and then seeing you like, pounding your bass, doing your thing, wearing red leather, like it's incredibly overwhelmingly like
Yeah, that's
fabulous
an interesting
music.
scenario. A high school dance playing Quiet Riot because we never saw ourselves as a dance band.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say we were
So,
necessarily
so
dancing to it, but we were into it. So
yeah, I mean, how would people dance to that?
I don't know. Just bang their heads, probably.
Yeah, a lot of head banging going on,
Right, right. So
and maybe a little doing I'm thinking because in the I'm 75, so I was a
yeah.
teenager in the 60s, and in the 60s there was a dance for every song.
Oh,
Of course
really?
you had the twist, you had the twist,
Right.
come on baby, do the twist, and then you had like the pony and the frug and the all these different, like if you watch any beach bingo movie,
Oh, yeah.
like
Beach Blanket
an
Bingo,
F1,
right?
yeah, an F1 Shello and Frankie Avalon. they were dancing to every song
Yeah.
that was played. It didn't matter what the song was. So, and there was always like some kind of sense you did like the swimming or the whatever, and it was like, wow. So I'm imagining which one would you do with Come on Feel the
I
Noise?
don't know. I need to think about it. I'll have to ask my
Yeah.
girlfriends because maybe we did and I just don't remember it.
Okay. I like to know.
We'll get back to that. But
Okay.
so I was riveted with your book, what I said before. It was an incredible story about your time, obviously your career, your life, your experiences, and your relationships, especially, with Ozzy, Sharon, and especially Randy Rhoads.
Mm.
Such a momentous thing. And sadly, there was all that tragedy that happened. I saw that you're a man of faith. So did that help you get through that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, it helped me go through that when I did not even know what I was going through. Uh, you know, because back in 1981 when I first joined Ozzy, and then 1982 with the crash, Randy dying. Uh, 45 years ago, or 44 when Randy passed away. We didn't talk about post-traumatic syndrome. I mean, we didn't even know that
Right. Yeah.
existed. I mean, in my circles, we
Right.
didn't know. We didn't know what we were going through. But we were going through something that it was like it changed our lives and it changed our emotions and it changed us completely, you know. And we all dealt, with the stages of mourning that we all went through, that natural stages of mourning, a different, and there was not a particular sequence that everybody went through at the same time. It was kind of like random, sequences of the stages of mourning. And that, I mean, that I knew about, and I knew I was expecting it, and every time something came and emotionally that changed me, I attributed it as to one of the stages of what I was going through. But as far as the post-traumatic syndrome, I had no idea until years later that I understood what we had experienced, as far as how it affected us individually.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, the person that carried us through it was Sharon,
Mhm.
you know, but I don't think that she had time to mourn at that time. And it must have been so incredibly difficult for her
Oh,
because
yeah.
she had to keep it all inside. If she fell apart, the whole thing would fall apart.
Right, right. Well,
You
it's
know,
kind of crazy that y'all kept playing and doing the tour even after it happened. Like it's like not enough time to even process what happened.
yeah, I mean, we understood why we were doing it. We had to keep Ozzy occupied. If
Right,
Ozzy
right.
would have gone home, he would have drank himself to death. So it's like keep him going, keep him going, and we understood that was our mission to keep Ozzy alive, and but it took a major toll on everybody emotionally. Especially, once you get up on stage and it's the same production, with the castle and we're wearing certain medieval clothing and
Oh, right, right.
you have the dwarf running around and the first thing you hear in the intro of the set was Randy's guitar playing the intro to Diary of a Madman.
Right.
We didn't play that song live. It was just the intro introducing the show, and then we went into Over the Mountain after that. But I mean, that was like a constant reminder of of a loss that is beyond words. Really, I mean, no matter how much I can write about it or talk about it, it still doesn't even come close
Oh,
to what the loss meant to all of us.
yeah, of course. Well, I love some of the parts of the books. Like every time we're in a new city and you had a little bit of time, that Randy would go through the yellow pages and find a classical teacher, guitarist teacher, go and
Mhm.
then like basically like take lessons while you were on the road.
Yeah, most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, he would wind up teaching
Well, right,
the
but
uh,
still,
the
there's
person. Yeah,
the teacher would be
I
like, "Oh my God,
as I
take
recall,
notes."
Yes, I recall Randy did one of his only, or maybe one or two, definitely just one, as I recall, in-store appearances in Pittsburgh.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What year
yeah,
was
that
that?
one. 82.
82? Oh, obviously done.
Yeah,
So, okay. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. So I recall it was in Pittsburgh. Yeah, yeah, at a music store. You
Yeah,
just went there and gave like a master class. I believe it was for free. It's just somebody contacted
that's
him because
wild.
Randy needed to teach.
Yeah.
Uh, he had been teaching longer than he had for a longer time than he had been a professional musician.
Yeah.
He started teaching at a very early age at his mom's music school, Musonia,
Right. Yeah.
you know, and he knew that better than anything else because he had been doing it longer and steadily for years before he joined Ozzy. Basically, Quiet Riot with Randy was a band in pursuit of a record deal. So we were not really a professional band, you know, considered. We were just a local band. You know, we could not go on tour. We didn't have radio airplay in the United States because we did not have an American record deal. There were two records that were released in Japan, but that did not mean anything in Los Angeles.
Right.
You were still a local band. You were not getting any radio airplay, constant radio airplay, or nothing, or promotion from a record company, nothing. So Randy spent, we would play on the weekends, maybe a couple of weekends out of the month. We were practice a lot every single day, 6 days a week, and we would then work on songs so we could go into a studio that would give us like spec time, meaning if somebody cancels the session, then the engineer says, yeah, come on down and let's do some recording, in the hopes that that engineer, if you ever get a record deal in the future, you will use that engineer to do your record at that studio. That's how it worked back in the day. Instead of leaving the studio empty, second engineers, people that were up and coming, they needed to get experience behind the board. They would be able to bring in new bands to work with them on demos that will be presented to record companies.
Oh, that's cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. You've been playing and touring a long time. You're very successful. You have an incredible music career. Why do you still do it? Like, what
Ooh,
drives you to still do it?
because I'm just getting started. There's so much more to do,
I
and
love
I
that
love it.
attitude. It's like
I
there's so
love it.
much more and you've accomplished
Yeah.
so much already.
Oh God. Yeah. Again, I still got gas in the car, so I'm
Yeah.
moving forward.
So you're not going to
Yeah.
retire and sit on a beach or anything with your wife.
Oh, I go crazy if I do that.
Yeah, you need something to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Hopefully people still
remember
want to see you.
I was raised in the beach. Well, in Miami, the beach was back in the day, was like 5 minutes from my house. Now it takes half an hour at least to
Yeah.
get there, because of traffic and whatever. And population, there's more people there now than there were when I first got to Miami in 1961. And I was never at ease being at ease
Right.
because my ideas start coming, thoughts,
Yeah.
things to do and songs to play, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about your musical background as far as like who do you love? What did you what bands did you love? Who do you love now? What do you listen to?
Oh, I listen. Well, I listen mostly to 70s music.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh, yeah, because not only that I grew up in that period, but that period really influenced me. Bass guitar was really mixed. Well, all those records were mixed, brilliant, beautiful mixes, uh, and performances on those records. Nowadays it's coined as yacht rock.
Oh, yacht rock. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but yacht rock in that category includes some of the greatest records ever made. From Steely Dan, who used to
I
spend
love them.
years mastering. I mean, musically masterpieces of musical, that will be considered 1,000 years from now, masterpieces, just like we look at paintings, you
Mhm.
know, Da Vinci or, any of Michelangelo, whatever, or listen to Bach. Those are masterpieces because they put the time into it and the craftsmanship. And there was a budget that they could go in the studio, be there every single day for about a couple of years because then the record company knew that once the record was done, they're going to have hits and sell a lot of records and get the money back many times.
Yeah.
And also within yacht rock, you have artists like Michael McDonald,
Mhm.
incredible vocalist both as a solo and with the Doobie Brothers.
Right.
I love the Doobie Brothers records with his era.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know the gentleman's last name, but the bass player Tyrone, was it Tyrone?
What was it really
Incredible. He's, I mean, one of the most underrated bassists of that era. And I knew that even back in the 70s, because very few people spoke about bass players. But me being a bass player, I had to learn the songs and listen to certain ones. And he really stood out. The tone of the bass, his choice of notes, everything, the feel was just, and the mix. I mean, the bass is just almost as loud or louder than the vocals. It's
right,
like this
right.
bass. So it was great because I could really hear what he was playing. So I didn't have to listen to it over and over again. It was clear in the mix. Bands like that, artists like that. You have the Hall Notes and even the Christopher Cross records are mixed so well. They're beautiful. Then if you bring Michael McDonald to sing along, he sang on just about every record. Michael McDonald sang background for Steely Dan, Christopher Cross,
I
Kenny
didn't even know
Loggins.
that.
Oh yeah,
No way.
yeah,
That's wild. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, run like the wind.
Yeah,
They
I know
happen
that
to be
song.
in the studio, like in the same building.
Yeah.
Studios, recording studios who have like different rooms, A, B, C, D, whatever they were called. There could be a number, Studio One, Studio Two. So there could be multiple artists making music in this studio in different rooms.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes they will walk in and collaborate. You know,
Totally awesome.
like one of the stories is Stevie Nicks and Tom Petty. Don't drag your heart around.
Stop dragging my heart
Yeah,
around. Yeah, such
yeah.
a good song.
She just happened to be in next studio working on her song, and just she walked in, and they thought it was a great idea to have her on the
Yeah.
track. It's a classic.
And then
You
they
know.
became really good friends. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, everybody at that level really, because you get to tour together, whether you're doing festivals or you're doing your own tours. Yeah, you become friends and you become fan of their music also.
Of course. Right. Well, let me ask you this. What do you love about music? What do you absolutely love about it? Like, what do you love about playing? What kind of thing? Like those kind of things. Like how did you get
Well,
turned on to all of it?
it's two different. It's two different things. I love playing bass.
Hmm.
I love being a bass player. I love where the bass, if you're going to look at it as a presentation, characters in a movie, in a story, characters in a story. The bass player is kind of like it's kind of like in Spinal Tap. It's kind of like the guy in the middle, the glue keeps everything.
Yeah.
You know, if the bass, you ask any bass player, if you change one note on the bass, that changed the whole chord structure
Mm.
of the song. You know, it becomes the inversions that the bass can do can emotionally uh, have an effect on the lyric. Brian Wilson was great at that. He would play a lot of fifths of the chord on the bass, go down to the fifth. So it was like it created a suspension on the chord, and it's very dramatic. You know, when you need that to reflect on the lyric. Because, the music is the soundtrack to the script, which happens to be the lyric.
Right, right.
That's the way I look at it. That's how I write music. I write the lyrics, and then I find the music to go along with it to actually, yeah, be the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Create that emotional factor to what the lyric to the scenery that the lyric is painting.
Right. Now, obviously, the drums, the bass and the drums really drive the band. So do you find that you have like a tighter, even maybe like even a tighter relationship with the drummer, like when you were playing with
Oh,
Tommy Aldridge,
absolutely.
like you guys are like this
Yeah,
because you have to be, and then
yeah, yeah. It's a drive and a groove. Sometimes the groove is more important than the drive. Sometimes you don't need to drive a song; you need to groove it.
okay,
You know. Uh, but yeah, I understood that early on in my career when I started playing with Frankie Banali.
yeah,
We started playing, and I met him on my birthday, November 18th, 1972, and we started playing immediately after that. So he taught me about the importance of the bass player within the rhythm section, the role of the bass player, and that's something that I've taken with me ever since, acknowledging that. And then, you have different bass players that approach everything differently. Uh, like, let's say John Entwistle, the relationship between John Entwistle and Keith Moon within the Who. Now, there you have, it's only three instruments, and then later on, they added a keyboard player. But originally, it was just, Pete Townsend on guitars, and then you got Keith on drums and John Entwistle. Of course, you got the vocal, but that's like the lead line,
right,
as far as what's supporting the storyline from the messenger, who was the singer. You got only three instruments, but they were able to create a symphonic sound with all of that. You
100%.
know,
That's one of my favorite bands too.
oh, me too.
I
And they
love
had
their old
attitude.
stuff so much.
Yeah, yeah. And then again, it wasn't as much groove. I don't think that there was groove. As a matter of fact, Keith Moon was really well known for not playing a hi hat, which is part of creating the
Yeah,
groove because the hi hat creates the groove.
wild man.
So everything was more like he was playing timpanis, like
Yeah,
a symphonic percussion section of an orchestra. And so you have Pete Townsend, doing the stabs, kind of like the horns section of a symphony, and then you have John Entwistle doing the strings.
yeah.
He will
So
be
stoic the whole
yeah,
time, just stoic.
I know, but so badass. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's
know.
it's one of a kind.
Yeah,
He's a badass of badasses.
totally. But I mean, and speaking of badasses, didn't you just win an iconic badass award, Lifetime Achievement Award?
Well, yes. Since we're talking, I'm trying to. Okay, let's separate badass musicians with me playing a badass bridge. That's the
Right,
name of the
right,
bridge.
right. No, I know.
And that bridge, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Dan, so we're going to be talking all about this, but I'm just to
Cool.
encapsulate my relationship with the badass bridge. I bought my Fender bass, my 67 Fender bass in 1967. I had just begun to play, you know, uh, not just I hadn't begun to play in clubs yet, but I was doing more of the quinceañeras, which is like the little, from the Cuban culture, the community. When a girl turns 16, oh, 15, they would throw a party.
Huge party.
So yeah, the party, and there would be like two or three bands. We didn't have DJs. It was custom music, and it's usually slow dance, ballads.
Yeah,
So
sounds
the boys
fun.
and girls, yeah, it was fun. Uh, I love cake, so anytime that there's a party, I'm there. So, and
I
there
love
was
cake too. What's
I
not to
love
love?
cake. Cake is the perfect meal. It's got everything. And so the bridges that were built back in the day, the bridge for the bases, they used to slip a lot in on the Fender instrument. So we used to like remedy, like by then, by a couple of years later from using the bass, I started slipping, and we used to put, like, let's say we play at a club. I'm old enough that I can tell you that I used to get secondhand smoke from stage. I don't smoke cigarette, but I didn't have to because everybody else was smoking The waitresses were smoking, the
Everyone back
bartender was
then.
smoking, the audience was smoking,
Yeah.
other musicians were smoking. So it's like this layer of smoke going on, and so we used to get a lot of like grit and muck on our instruments. I would go
Oh
home,
yeah.
and this is in Miami, so you got the humidity factor that added to it. But anyways, going back to the cigarettes, for promotional purposes, every club had matches,
Right.
if and a little folding thing, you know, and so we
Yeah, a
used
little
to like
matchbook.
take yeah, it's a matchbook. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we used to take the book and fold it into like a little fold and put it underneath the bridge to keep it from slipping.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
Yeah. But then they will get corroded from all the muck in the air and humidity. So I had to keep constantly doing that. And then this badass bridge that corrected all of that came along in the market. And just about everybody that I knew changed from the original Fender bridge to this badass bridge. I have a 59 precision. And thank God that whoever owned it did not decide to do that because I still have the original bridge. Nowadays, there's this liquid that you could put, it's like tight liquid that you can get it on Amazon. It's like a blue little things that keeps the threads, it keeps all the instruments, like on anything that has a thread on a musical instrument like the bass, it keeps it from slipping. It tightens them. It's better than crazy glue because crazy glue once you put it on it's very difficult. But this thing it just makes it tougher. It tightens everything. That's what it does. It tightens. It doesn't crazy glue it. So now we do that, and when I fly, uh, well, I was doing a show a few weeks ago, and one of the nuts that hold where the plug, the quarter-inch plug goes into my instrument. There's a nut there holding it, and for the vibration on planes, it loosened it, and as soon as I went on stage, it dropped.
Oh,
So I had, we were playing Las Vegas at the Golden Nugget. So we had to stop the show. I have to find the nut that hold that piece. Then we have to open up the bass. We took about 20 minutes to get back on
yeah.
stage. You know, so I make sure now that every moving piece that's screwable, that's got a thread on my instrument, everything has that tight liquid that holds it. Yeah.
That's so
Bet you
cool. I
would.
didn't know that.
Bet you didn't think you were going to be talking about screws and nuts.
That's okay. I didn't know anything
Podcast.
about it, so it's interesting to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, it's a warning to everybody out there, so you don't have to stop the show for 20 minutes.
right.
Anyway, looking
And
for
look for it.
that nut.
It's very interesting. So, can you name one thing? This might be a hard question because probably a lot of things, but can you name one thing that music has given you?
Ooh, ah, everything, everything. It's yeah, that is a great question, but thinking
Oh,
about it,
thanks.
what has music not given me?
Right. It's kind of hard to pigeonhole one
Yeah,
thing.
well, yeah, to say everything is kind of like generic, but it is everything.
But yeah,
I
if
mean,
it's true.
I mean, I can go by. He's giving me these headphones, giving me this remote control. I mean, we can go on in my room for
Yeah,
everything.
right. It's given you all these relationships and people you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Comfort, a creative outlet,
Yeah.
which is like the fountain of it all.
Yeah.
I during COVID, I I took time and reflected and said, well, what do I really, it looks like we're going to be down for a while.
Yeah.
And what are my interests that I can now, maybe get educated on? Home education. Because you have two choices at that time. You could just waste that time, not gain anything from it, or you could just put yourself out there and say, okay. I'm going to try to be a better human once we come out of this.
Right.
And so I went down the trying to find out the healing qualities of music because from playing with different bands, I've seen different reactions and different audiences, and I was going like, wow, what's that all about?
Yeah.
You know, and so I started to do research and went down the whole rabbit hole of leading me to quantum physics, the physics of it all, of music, because
Wow.
it's all about waves
Right.
and particles. Life has everything is waves and particles. And it's like the waves is anything from the sound that we make or the thought. It doesn't have to be external, it could be internal.
Mhm.
It's with the quantum field is from the research that I've done. I believe it's because I get some information and I go, yes, I think this is because it's theoretical.
Right.
So, but if this theory resonates with you, it just doesn't, it becomes part of your consciousness, which is where what we really are. We human beings are what keeps us together is vibration, waves, sounds. That's why our sound affects us so much because we're made of that. And imagine that we're about 80 to 85% water.
I was just gonna say water, yes.
Yeah, water. Yeah.
No.
And so imagine when you put a glass of water near something that is producing sound, look at the waves, the ripples that
Yeah.
it creates within that glass, on the top. So we resonate in the same way. And not only and as we resonate, let's say we have the scenario that we're at a live performance, we're surrounded by complete strangers at a general admission event,
Mhm.
but we're all there sharing a collective consciousness. We're resonating at the same time
Right.
because of the music that's coming towards us. And everybody they have their it's a collective consciousness, but it's very singular because not everybody connects with a particular song the same way about the same time.
I would agree with that.
you know
Yeah.
and so started going down that road, and had a lot of self realizations, meaning that once you start agreeing with a certain theory or even disagreeing with it, then you agree with the opposite of whatever you disagree,
Mhm.
you know, and because it's information that once we reach a certain age is within us. That's why we don't really go to school. We can be educated all our lives, but there's going to be a programming system that by the time you're basically 18 or 19, you're on your own.
Mm.
You're not going back to school anymore. You're still learning because life is a lesson, you
Sure.
know, but you're not being programmed.
Right.
When we're born, we're basically like that iPhone that you buy at the store. You don't have any apps on it, unless you take you transfer your apps from the old phone to the new phone. But let's say you
Yeah.
never had an iPhone. You
Right.
get this, and then that's the baby. You get your operating system, which is biological. It keeps you're ticking, you're living, you're crying, you're pooping, you're eating, doing all that stuff, right?
Right.
That's just an iPhone. There's no apps in there yet. Then, as a parent of this phone, you start installing applications in there,
Yeah.
and that's where the programming begins. Our parents are the first one to program us according to their own programming, you know, and then we start going to school. Then we start getting programmed by the school system according to whoever the teacher is. Not all teachers are the same, you know, and then you start getting programmed by society. You start getting now at an earlier age than I did. You get programmed by social media. We didn't have social media back then.
Nope.
You know,
Grew up
you
even.
we doing that. Yeah, and there's so many influences. You know, and so it's all a matter of programming. And then at some point, like I did, I start deprogramming myself, deprogramming as to thinking, let's say, thinking about time, you know, and it's, you know, I'm 75, so I'm closer to the end that I am to the beginning. And it's just like anything, the less you have of it, the more you care about it and you nurture it and you don't want to waste a single bit. Let's say if
Right.
you had like 3 bottles of water left, you're gonna take little sips, not
Sure.
waste any of that. You know, you're gonna love it. You're gonna really,
Yeah.
embrace it and say, okay, this is my water and I love it. You know, that's my attitude. I've seen some other people become bitter
Yeah.
as they get older.
Some people
I
have a lot of regrets too. So,
Oh yeah, well you can't fix that.
well, right. So, I mean,
It-
it's detrimental to you. Like you said, you don't want to look back. People shouldn't always necessarily look back and be like, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, because you can't change it.
you can't change it. You
Right.
can change how you feel about it.
Sure. And you can do something different going forward.
Yeah, because it's a lesson.
Right.
Anything that you consider that you did wrong, well, I hope you learn from that. So hopefully you might not do it exactly, make the same mistakes.
Right.
We will make mistakes.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You
I tend
know.
to be like, I need to do it the hard way all the time. I
Mm,
don't know why, but I've
mm,
noticed that as
mm.
I've gotten older, that when I look back at things I did when I was younger, I'm like, I have no idea why everything was so hard for me. But
Yeah.
I certainly learned about myself.
Yes. Yes. And that's what we're here for, to learn.
Right.
you know
Right. For
and then
sure.
yeah, and so this whole thing about deprogramming myself, it's kind of like getting rid of the things that kept making the same mistakes over and over again. Another thing that I found during COVID, see, I've been sober for over 28 years now,
Oh, that's
and
great.
but I did not realize that I was still thinking like an alcoholic, making alcoholic decisions. You could be completely sober and make some terrible alcoholic mind
Very introspective.
decisions,
Yeah.
you know. And so when I during COVID, I said, you know what, let me check these Zoom meetings, and then I find out, of course, that was the only way to do it, and everybody was on. And I'm going like, wow, then I could really connect and relate with other alcoholics to the point that I say, hey, I'm also an alcoholic, and this is why I've been making all of this really bad alcoholic. This is not a good alcoholic decision,
Right. Right.
but all when I say alcoholic decisions, it's definitely a bad decision,
Like
in my
how you
life.
used to do it. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you still
So
go to
I
meetings? Do you do meetings?
once in a while, yeah. I
Okay.
we did this. I usually go on cruises. When we play on a cruise, then
Yeah.
you always have like the Friends of Bill W meetings, and it's really interesting. I love it because I'm on a boat. I love doing those rock and roll cruises because
Oh
I
yeah, like
don't have to.
Monsters of Rock and all that.
Yeah, yeah. We just did the last one about a month ago,
Right.
and we it's like we get a cabin, so that's home for the duration, and then as long as you get there for sound check and the gig, you're pretty much on your own.
Yeah.
you know, and all your old friends are there from different bands or maybe your former bandmates and the fans, and so it's like, okay, this it's a great environment to really, I don't know, not just learn about yourself, but learn about others. Because
Sure.
once you get together with other people, now they have the time and you have the time to really have a meaningful conversation
Sure.
because there's no other place to go.
Right. I would think like the
We're on this
access
boat
to
together.
yeah, and all the access that your fans would have for to you is like
Oh
way
yeah.
more than a
Oh,
show. Yeah.
I've had some great conversation with fans,
Oh, I'm sure.
uh, that I'm going like, wow, and it puts like a different spin on like who's listening to our music,
Right.
you know, because it's not just we musicians we're kind of like the reason why we picked being a musician originally was so we didn't have to get a job. We didn't have to work. We play. We don't
Right.
work. We
So
play.
you realize
So
it
a
is a
whole lot.
job.
Yeah, it is a job, but we play. And
Yeah.
people say we don't retire because we're not working. We play. And I mean, we retire when people stop showing up for whatever reason, because our audience gets too old or they're just not interested in us anymore. It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's it. I'm not gonna. I've seen you guys 100 times. Enough.
Some
Stuff
people are
like that.
diehard though. They'll go
You know.
101 times. So
I'm sorry.
I said some people are diehard. They'll go 101 times
Oh
to see
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. No, I'm just. It's a hypothetical number.
I know. I'm
You
just
know.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I yes.
I was just
Yeah.
gonna say I noticed that you're an animal advocate and that you do it a lot with the Eastwood Ranch Animal Rescue Foundation. Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about, your love for animals and what you
Yeah, they happen to be the ranch, the actual animal shelter, mostly dogs and cats.
okay.
Uh, it's pretty much brand new. It's about maybe 2 years old, 3 years old
Oh
tops.
yeah, that's not very old.
But Allison, who is Clint Eastwood's daughter, and
Oh, okay. I didn't even catch
yeah,
that.
oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, he's a major driving force behind it.
That's
You know,
awesome.
yeah. And Stacy, her husband, uh, I became friends with Stacy years ago, and I went over to their place, uh, and which is like we're neighbors, and they were rescuing at home in the garage, and at home they will have the rescues, and then because of who they are, they had a massive network of people that they could pass the word around that they had these pets available at their house. So that was the seed. So this is not something that all of a sudden they have this facility, shelter. This is something that they started at home and it just grew into this and it's magnificent. We did a tour. I'm part of a charity organization called Bank, Benevolent Artists National Charity. We're based out of Canada. We do some charities down here too, mainly in the Phoenix area. And also for the Eastwood Ranch, there was an event uh, in Carmel. Uh, the Eastwood family it has a long history, as Clint used to be the mayor of Carmel for a
Yes,
while.
that's wild. I forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah, and so they have a lot of roots there, a lot of friends, and a lot of support. So the I wasn't a part of that event because I was on the boat on the Monsters of Rock boat,
Yeah.
but the rest of the organization held the event, and we raised some a good amount of money for that, and so yeah, so we're really incredibly supportive of that organization. Sometimes you have to just pick one
Yeah.
rather than say, yeah, we support all the shelters.
Right.
Is
Well,
there
you
like
love
no this
animals,
one?
right? You love animals.
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah,
dogs?
yeah, yeah. I have my wife and I we've been together for 45 years,
That's amazing.
but we've been married for 42. This year is going to be 43.
You got married in
And
84, right?
sorry,
You got married in 84?
84. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and we've been, we have our fourth Yorkie. It's always been Yorkshire Terriers. Yeah. Yeah. I fell in love with the breed when I was touring with Ozzy and Sharon had a Yorkie named Mr. Pook. And that was the coolest little dog ever. I
Oh,
mean, it was on tour with us
yeah.
all the time, Mr. Pook. And and so, my wife knows me, we've been together since 81. So obviously she met Mr. Poog. She
Yeah.
fell in love with Mr. Poog. And so when it came time for us to like expand our family with a puppy, we decided, yes, let's get a Yorkie. And our friends, they've all been girls.
Oh,
The first one was Sharjah, but after Sharjah Gabor,
oh, yeah.
because she was very elegant.
Did you have one named Tippy?
I'm sorry?
Did you have one named Tippy? Was it Tippy that that sat on
No,
your lap
okay,
when you were riding?
we had Shasha, we had Brittany,
Brittany.
we have Tori, and our baby today is Baby Willow.
Aw,
Yeah.
so cute. My
And they're all
girlfriend,
so different. They're all
yeah,
so different. They have different personalities, but still the same traits of the Yorkies.
yeah. Well, if you like a
Yeah.
breed, you like a breed
Oh yeah,
for sure.
we love it. Yeah.
Yeah, my neighbor had six Chihuahuas. My girlfriend two doors down.
So cute. I
They
love it.
are, but they're fierce.
I
They're
know.
fierce.
The little ones.
Yeah, they
They're
they
crazy.
sniff your hand, they lick it, they love you, and then they growl at you.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
like, you
yeah.
love me.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Mine,
Hilarious.
when we're watching TV, she'll come over and go to sleep next to me, like cuddle next to me. And if I rub her, she'll snap at me and start biting me because I woke her up. Yeah.
Gosh, temperamental.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, it's not like she draws blood or anything. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, yeah.
Waking me up. What's wrong? Stop waking me up, Dad. Okay, so I know you're super busy. Do you have any downtime? And if you do have downtime, do you have any hobbies or things you do besides, all your philanthropic things?
No hobbies. I'm just working on new music
Yeah.
and yeah, which uh, I'm going to be releasing, not for a label, just for, I wanted to write music that I could play cool bass parts on
Yeah.
and mix it myself and tell a story, document my experiences in life lyrically,
Yeah.
and just put it out there. I'm in a band, so it's not like I'm doing, and we're doing really well. We're really busy touring Choir Riot.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm doing this because, I need to make some money.
Right,
But
right.
thank God, it's just that I need to create.
Right. Well, I think people will be excited to see whatever you create. So, I mean, I'll be excited.
Oh, it's
Uh,
gonna, yes, it's not gonna be, see, because if I do my typical, what I'm known for,
mhm.
then it will be more of the same. And what I really wanted to do is to go back to my roots of music that I grew up playing and loving back in the 70s that
Oh,
people don't really record new music like that anymore in the
mhm.
masses, And I was there, so I'm very educated in how that music works and what it sounds like and, the songwriting structure of it. And so I'm just having a blast doing it.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you still enjoy it so much.
Oh, I love it. I
Well,
love
it
because
shows. It shows that you love it.
I put it this way, I'm making music that I enjoy listening to. And if I am the only person in the world that will enjoy listening to that music, that's fine with me.
Aw. Well, that's
You
how
know,
you know you love what you're doing. Okay, I just have like a couple more things. So, what advice would you give to young people who want to be musicians or want to be in a band? Like, do you have any advice for someone starting
yes and no.
out?
Well, because it's such different times,
Yeah.
and I'm aware of the challenges of today's musicians in order to reach an audience. Because unless you're just doing it for the sake of making music, which is at the end of the day, there's no guarantees. They have never ever been any guarantee. I mean, if let's say you go to college or university and get a degree in medicine, somehow, some way, you're going to get a job,
Right.
and that's going to be your profession. Very rare that that doesn't happen. You got a degree, you got a shot. If you got a degree in music, there's no guarantee
Oh no.
that you're going to get a shot at making music for a living. You know, so music it's really the way I look at it. It's a calling. I I started playing professionally 45 years ago at a time that, as a matter of fact, we were at the cusp of the music industry turning into a mega money maker. The 60s and 50s and 60s and even the 70s were nothing like it was in the 80s.
Right.
In the 70s, if you sold two, if you had a double platinum, that was like, it was like Peter Frampton Comes Alive or something
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Some of the biggest records ever. At one point with Metal Health, I looked at it and I read that we have sold more records than Sergeant Pepper at that moment in history. It was
Wow.
like, I can't believe this.
That's
You
crazy.
mean Sergeant, but that is the reality of, how many records were sold. Few records used to become gold, which is 500,000. Few records used to become platinum. So, and this is thanks to MTV.
Oh, I know.
And I talked to a few of the VJs, they're friends of mine,
Yeah.
and I thanked them and I told them, listen, without what you guys did for our generation, we would have never sold as many records or had the career that we have now. During the 80s, I played on 5 consecutive multi-platinum records. Tribute, live record,
Oh
with
wow.
Ozzy and Randy.
Yeah.
Speak of the Devil, again, live with Ozzy. Then Mental Health, Condition Critical, 2 Quiet Riot records, and Slip of the Tongue with Whitesnake. Between
Oh, that
1981 and
album.
1989,
Yeah.
recording those albums.
That's
But
wild.
yeah, but a lot of bands sold a lot of records. When we went to number one, our competition, because we stayed at number two on Billboard charts for weeks. And so Michael Jackson and the Police, they were kind of like jumping over us.
Okay.
Michael Jackson go to number one, the Police number three, we stay number two, and vice versa. And one week we sold 1 million copies of Mental Health, and that's put us at number one. But then again, like you said, your recollections, Come on, Feel the Noise, the MTV videos, that's how we sold the records. As a matter of fact, we have a gold single for Come on, Feel the Noise. Gold single is single. See, gold on an album is 500,000.
Hmm.
Gold on a single is 1 million singles. Okay, so when it was happening, we were trying to figure out, what's going on. We were we were playing with a lot of heavy metal bands back then, like Maiden, Black Sabbath. So we went to number one where we were on tour with Black Sabbath, and but we would have parents come backstage to meet the band, bringing their children, like toddlers, and they'd tell the kid, hey, sing for the boys your favorite song. And the kid would go, come on, feel the noise, sing it. And we're going, what's going on? All these kids are watching our video and listening to our music. So we
Yeah,
figured
right.
it out. Eventually, that come and feel the noise is a nursery rhyme. Three blind mice, come on, feel the noise. So the kids, they were just coming out of their nursery rhyme stage, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
they got a rock version of one of their
That's
favorite nursery
hilarious.
rhymes. Say, I like these guys. They get us, the kids, and and so yes, so what would happen is the kid would ask their parents, "Can you get me the Quiet Riot record?" So the parents, they thought, well, this mental health thing that might be a little bit too heavy for them. Let's just get them the single.
The single, right?
He's
That's
safe so they
so
can
wild.
play it in the little record player in their room, and that's how we sold 1 million of them.
Wow. It's just nuts. MTV was a huge influence on me because I was just becoming a teenager when came out. And then I went to college and I was writing about bands anyhow. And then when I got out of college, I wanted to be an MTV VJ so bad. So bad.
So now you have your own show.
Right. And here I am. It came later in my life, but I'm happy
Yeah,
it came. So,
there you
yeah,
go.
for sure. So, and I'm excited. I was so excited to talk to you today. And I thank you so, so much for your time.
Thank you, Julie. Thank
I
you.
know that you guys are coming, you're on tour with Quiet Riot. You're coming to
Mm,
Jurgles in Warrendale, PA, July 5th.
mm.
So
Yep.
that's really close to where I live. So I'm going to come see you with my friends.
Okay.
And I'm going to come backstage if that's okay with you. I want you to sign my book so bad.
Okay. I'll sign it for you for sure.
That sounds great. So thank you so much for your time. You were absolutely wonderful. And I'm like so incredibly
Thank you,
excited.
Julie.
So
Thank you for
thank you.
having me on yourself. Thank you.
Oh,
God bless you.
anytime. You have a great time. You have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank
Bye.
you. God bless. Bye bye.